Now that's a hammer, Jace. For the record, that's what you swing next time. I don't know who you are, but you're incredibly sexy right now. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka GeekXX Chic, and I'm so excited. It is finally Arcane time. After a couple of years of waiting, we have our second and sadly final season of the show. But I heard through the pipeline that even though this is going to be the end of the story of the two sisters, Vi and oh gosh, why did her name just slip out of my name? Jinx. They're going to be still doing more stories in the whole League of Legends universe. So they said, you know, they didn't say it's going to be the last of them for sure, but we don't know. We'll have to see how the series turns out. But either way, I'm excited for this because I loved season 1 of Arcane. In my opinion, one of the best animated shows ever, let alone what Netflix has put out. And just also as a show, like take the animation out of it. I just think it was a beautifully written show. I think the character development was great. The voice acting, everything. It was really, really just a great show. And I understand why Netflix sunk a lot of money into season 2 because people love season 1. Like it was brilliant. So my expectations are very high. Let's put it that way. I have very high expectations for season 2, and I'm really hoping it won't disappoint because I think it was the same people. So yeah, I'm hoping they're going to bring a beautiful conclusion to this story, and I'm very excited to know what it is. Speaking of the conclusion to the story, the main things I think we need to remember from last season is that we ended it with Vi and Jinx finally facing up after chasing each other for a while. And this is when Vi had to take a cold, hard look at her sister and realize that she was not the little girl she used to know. And unfortunately, Jinx felt like she'd been betrayed by everybody. And as a result, she used the technology that she'd been working on to send a devastating attack to the upper city. And we saw that a bunch of people were in the council chambers when it was hit. And we have no idea how many people survived at this point, if any. So that was kind of how we ended things. Lots of juicy fodder for this season. I have stayed away from all the spoilers because I really wanted to go in blind. So I'm very excited. Let's jump in. Just before I do though, if this is your first time here on my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I react to a lot of stuff here, including the first season of this. If that's where you came from, great. But if you didn't know, I did react to season 1. So please do check that out before you jump into this season. But anyway, please do join the fam if you want to be notified of when I drop these reactions to this show or anything else. Hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. All right, that out of the way, let's get into episode 1 of Arcane season 2, which is called Heavy is the Crown. Right now. I hope my sis is alive, y'all. It's all I'm hoping. Please let Jace and my girl have survived. I'll be so upset if we lost both of them or one of them. Okay, we're picking up right where we left off. Okay, good. Jace, is that you? Okay, Jace is alive. Oh, is he holding his bae? Oh, did he protect her or did she protect him? Mel, please be okay. Oh, thank God. My babies are okay, thank you God. How's everybody else? Oh, my sister. You alive at least? Oh, bye. Bye. Oh, well, half of you might be okay. Why's my internet acting up? Is that his mother? Oh, Jace is gonna be out for blood. Victor! Yeah, he's not gonna lose them both. What are you doing, Jace? Okay. If it's just for Victor, Victor's already done messed himself up. I was scared he's gonna do something to his mom. Zombify her or something. Okay, that is a hell of a chest shot. What do they call them? Defibrillator? Okay, you might have exploded his whole heart. Victor? You gonna put us into the intro with that? Okay. But that's a hell of a start, though. Oh, terrifying. More echo. Oh, Jace, I'm sorry, bro. But yeah, there's no forgiving. There's no forgiving, this artwork, amazing. It's probably going to put an interesting wedge between her and Vi. So many great shots already, like the artwork in this show. I expect nothing less, though. It was a very expensive season.
She was a great woman, a good friend. I don't know how we'll face this crisis without her.
Oh, by the look in her eyes, she's got an idea of how she's planning to face it.
There will be no more fairy tales of peace until we scour our basement of its demons.
Wow.
Let us address the matter at hand. Our people are scared.
Ooh, the way she put the mask on.
We flood the Undercity with enforcers.
This is not...
armed with hex tech.
Innocents will be caught in the crossfire.
Thank you.
What is she doing here?
Officer Kiraman witnessed the attack firsthand.
Thank you.
She confirmed this was the act of a single deranged individual.
Thank you. A little sense.
The underground leaderless. If we follow your plan, we risk unifying them against us.
Thank you.
Our healing can only begin once she's been brought to justice.
Okay, that is a valid point. But going into the Undercity with force makes no sense.
2 to 1. We invade.
Where's Jace? Isn't he a council member?
It's imperative you present a unified front to the public, whatever your personal feelings.
Shush!
But I draw the line at Hextech. We have an ethos. Such force must...
Agreed.
Yeah.
Settled. 2 to 1.
Yeah. Since we want to go do it as a numbers game. Why is her mom still here? Shouldn't she be leaving? Isn't there some place she should be, like, finding some pool boys to parade around her? You can't blame yourself for showing mercy. That is not your fault.
The Kiraman key. No, I'm not. I don't deserve it.
It's your legacy now, Caitlin.
Yeah. You
What's
must be...
she still doing?
Yeah, I was about to say, this maybe isn't the best place for you to be right now, girl. Especially since you're still somewhat advocating for your sister, understandably. That contrast. Caitlin's dad was so chill last season. V is one of the few people who completely understands what you're going through, sis. She lost both her parents very violently.
You get Jace to fix the gauntlets. I can do this myself. No one else needs to get hurt.
Oh, honey, it's beyond you now.
They're sending all the enforcers after Jinx.
You can't be surprised, V. You can't be surprised.
I have to help.
You can,
Staying out of the way.
as one of us.
Oh.
The council won't stop them. You can show they're not all of Zorn supports Jinx. We can show them.
That's more than that, though.
I watched them kill my parents. Do you have any idea how that feels?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, but you're not gonna go now and join Jinx's crew. Yikes, this is a mess. This is a mess. And there is no, both of them are right. This is the hard part. They're both right. They both have points right here. And, ugh. But unfortunately, Vi's not gonna be able to stand in the middle on this one. I was like, I bet you're gonna hit somebody. What's going on with Victor? Did his heart explode?
How is he?
Same as before. Breathing.
Whew, by some miracle.
Your guess is as good as mine.
This is a very interesting thing you have him in. Oh! Not friendly.
It should be me up there instead of him.
Okay, that's not helpful to anyone right now.
How does the explosion do that to him? And I just walk out without a scratch.
That's how it happens sometimes. Unless he pushed you out of the way. Oh yes, I forgot we were introduced to her marksmanship last season. Something tells me she ain't gonna miss next time. Oh, look at the glowing eyes. So much easier to demonize her, isn't it? Aw, Jace listens to his girl. What a smart man.
I just understand now how easy it is to hate them. One vicious act.
But not all of them
Then
did
I
it.
see Vi.
Exactly.
She thinks those gauntlets of yours will solve all her problems.
Punching things does feel good in a moment like this. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm the one who created the monster.
Kinda. I mean, she was already a little broken, but you didn't help.
How do you know my name?
You stand
Junior
out,
Officer Nolan.
to be fair.
It's written on your face.
Oh, yeah, true. Does look like 6'2", though, to be fair.
Are you just here to waste my time?
Oh,
Zarch.
I was gonna say, girl, you're getting pretty saucy when you're in the upper city.
If every enforcer had a heart like yours, we could take on Noxus itself. Then she threatened to withdraw her family's funding.
The way she just slips that in. And she also threatened us.
It's nice to know there's still good ones left.
Oh, not the guilt. This person is unimpressed. He's like, I still don't trust your drunk self, ma'am. Keep it moving.
Duty calls. A real honor, Vi.
I don't think this soldier is going to be showing up for duty. Nothing of Jinx yet, which is interesting. Nothing of the Undercity at all. Right? What do you even begin to say?
Our compulsion to leave behind us a world better than that before.
Who is this? And why did they go behind Jace? Yeah, how many? There's not a lot of people that have tats up here. I trust Vi's instincts. Not the bag drop and walk away. Wait, would Jinx come? Would she do that? She is crazy enough.
Losing a loved one.
I think it is. No! No, please, God, no. No, 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 please. Don't take her from us, please. Okay, knockout's okay. Oh my God, that was close! Too close! Oh, I think her mom's gonna come. Come on, Mama, where are you? Don't miss, sis. Oh God, it never ends. This is a war. This is bad. This is very, very bad. So, I guess it's Hex Tech. Caitlin, can we shoot this guy who's not in an exoskeleton? Okay, guess we're not going. Damn, they're just gonna wipe out them. Yeah, wiping out their power would put them in chaos. Yeah, not on V's time, not at all. Not on Vi's time. Gauntlets, please. Where are the gauntlets? Ooh! Break it off! The whole neck, ideally. Yeah, Vi's definitely putting on that uniform. What is your problem? I mean, if that's what works, you are... I was just thinking, you do work on the metals, right? Oh, no. She's a baby. Did you hit the temple? Please tell me you hit the temple. Okay. Yeah, this guy is on every drug imaginable. Oh, no. Oh, my God. That's gotta hurt, but it won't kill him. He can survive it. Why were you standing there? Out of the way, Gramps. Don't mess with Caitlin. She don't miss.
For my son.
Who the hell is your son? Oh, was that the one that... Oh, and the mine last season. That is... Now that's a hammer, Jace. For the record, that's what you swing next time. Oh. Shooting the same spot again. Ooh, she's doing so well. Thank you, Jace. Where are these coming from? Where do the spears come from? Who did that? I don't know who you are, but you're incredibly sexy right now. New group joined the chat. Yes. These her eyes. But I thought, I'm like, this is Mel's mama, isn't it? Oh my God. Where the hell was she, by the way, when all the chaos was happening? Something tells me she stood back for a minute just to make sure her point was made. But yeah, I think we're gonna need the hex tech. Not need, but there's gonna be no argument for restraint now. Yeah, exactly.
A memorial? What kind of animals?
Here it comes.
You need to find a way to call off the invasion.
What?
How? How?
I was wrong to spring the badge on you.
Thank you.
It's just,
The idea was right, but the presentation wrong.
it's all coming apart.
No, it isn't. We won't let it.
We like the optimism, but not sure how it's gonna happen at this point there. This is a mess, to put it mildly. Oh, it's a key. I think she said that before, but I didn't realize it was an actual key. Oh, what is this? History of the Kiramans? This is a very cool machine. It's like a microfilm, but steampunk. I like it. Jace, is that you? Yeah, he's pissed. Sorry, I like Jace when he's in his blacksmith mode. It's kind of hot, so I'm saying.
Things into the ceremony. I thought we took every measure to secure it.
You definitely
They
got
must have
some
had help
traitors in your midst,
From
yep.
someone up here.
And it wasn't Vi.
We aren't prepared for a full-scale invasion. The Undercity's attack proved that.
This is a closed council meeting.
Oh, well, she's part of the council now.
I am a decorated officer,
Period.
leader of House Kiraman. Address me with respect, or keep your mouth shut.
Oh, Mama likes her.
We've got a few surprises of our own.
Sorry, I don't even like guns, but it looks sexy. I'm not gonna lie, it does look sexy. I told you she was putting that uniform on. It looks cool though, like the whole thing with the gauntlets. Oh, look, the flames behind him. Oh, don't you dare open your eyes now, Victor. Don't you dare! Don't you dare! Okay, we got a twitch. Just a twitch. Is that it? No, there's more. This episode's a gift that keeps on giving. Who this? Oh, you're not doing well, whoever you are. Hi. Flotsam and Jetsam. Was that Silco? And if so, how the hell is that man still alive? I thought we'd seen the last of him. No, I don't want any more Silco. We've got too much happening. Oh my gosh. All right, guys, that was an excellent first episode. I said I was going into this with high expectations, and I meant it. And I feel like thus far, she lived up to it. She said we're coming in swinging. We have 9 episodes, and that was episode 1. Like, what? Oh my gosh. Oh, what to even begin with? We spent the entire episode on the top side, which I think is valid. They have suffered the biggest shakeup I think they've ever experienced, at least to their knowledge. They've never had a direct attack with that much impact happen before. And we very much heard in season 1 that Piltover has always been the reigning power. They've always managed to keep themselves above a lot of the grit and the horrors and the worst of it. And even in the last skirmish that happened where Vi and Jinx lost their parents, they still came out of that virtually unscathed. It was the Undercity that suffered the most loss and damage from that. So they really are just, they're completely shaken, understandably so, and they're very much like, what do we do? So we see that as far as the council happened, as far as the people who are in the council room, because that's where the majority of Jinx's attack hit. Thankfully, we didn't lose Jason Mel. I was just like, I just want my babies. Please let my babies survive. Jason Mel made it, and they were basically unscathed outside of a few bumps. We lost, unfortunately, Caitlyn's mom, who we know was the benefactor for Jace. Like, she really is like a secondary mother to Jace. And obviously Caitlyn's mother. We also lost 2 other council members that quite frankly are red shirts if we're being real about it. And then we have that other one who unfortunately was paralyzed from the incident. So a lot of damage, and that's just counting the people in the council room. There was a lot of other people in the city who and guards that were in the room and people who were in that building who lost their lives. And so understandably, it is just a very dark time up there. And as I said, because I've never experienced something like this, it's even more terrifying and disruptive and unsettling. And I really love the imagery they use this episode to show, like, first of all, Caitlyn's grief, right? How she and Vi are the only ones who are in color when everything else is gray. And that is a great, I feel like, depiction of how it feels when you're going through grief. For a lot of people, that first few weeks of it is surreal, like you don't believe it's happening. And then as it settles in, it just feels like so little in your life matters or feels like it brings you any sense of relief. Like everything feels like gray and lifeless and dull. And, you know, so I think they just did a really good job of the contrast of how Caitlyn was kind of just functioning through all of this gray and just trying to get through it. And of course, in her case, there's even extra in the melange of emotions, because this wasn't like her mom died of old age or died of an illness. She died because of an attack. And so, and an attack that now Caitlyn believes she could have prevented if she had taken Jinx out when she had the opportunity. But we all know she didn't do that, mostly because of her feelings for Vi. She knew that Vi would probably never forgive her for taking Jinx out. And looking at all of what happened last season, you know, it's so understandable that Vi doesn't want to give up on her sister. Like, she still believed that somewhere in there, Powder, the little, you know, soft girl that followed her around, is still in there, and that all she needed to do was be a big sister and she'd come back. And obviously, if you'd asked Vi last season if Powder would ever have done, or Jinx would ever have done what she did with this attack, she would have said no, she never would do something like this. And now she had to come to that hard realization by being in, you know, on ground zero and seeing the devastating effects of what happened, of what her sister did. And so it's just a very mixed, a very complex thing that Caitlyn's feeling right now, with the anger, the guilt, the grief. And I'm really thankful, though, that she is able to separate that from Vi. I was scared that maybe she might take out a little extra anger on Vi, because, you know, that happens sometimes, that deference, that displacement. But she seems to be doing her best to keep a level head, which I really respect her for. Her and Mel right now are the only two that are trying to make decisions without going purely based on their emotions, which is not easy to do in a situation like this. But anyway, we see that Caitlyn wants Vi to join I can't remember the name of them, but she wants them to join the military force. She's like, they're going to invade one way or another. Like, they're going down there, but at least if you're with us, you can help us, like, navigate and make sure that we don't just go down there and start, you know, sweeping indiscriminately. Like, you can potentially help us know who we need to hit, where we need to hit, versus the people who are genuinely just caught in the crossfire. And I think Vi had a very, very understandable response to that. Right? Because I think that Caitlyn not understanding why Vi would be like, hell no, immediately, was a bit like, girl, can you take a minute? Because even when she's like, when Vi's like, I watched enforcers kill my parents. Do you know what that feels like? And she says, yes. But I'm like, no, it's not the same, though. It actually isn't the same at all, Caitlyn. Like, yes, you did watch your mother get taken out by somebody who is a quote unquote enemy of yours, but these people were not impressing you for your entire life. You didn't go to war with these people personally. Like, it's a very different situation. Enforcers, as Vi has been explaining to her since they met, have had a history of oppressing the people in the Undercity. So it's not the same. Again, yes, they both understand what it's like to have a parent violently taken, but once again, and as I said in the episode, it's not like Caitlyn's going down there and deciding to become one of Silco's lackeys or joining, you know, donning whatever faction that Powder decides to spin up, right? So it's a very different thing. It'd be one thing for Vi to even go down there, again, going against her sister, but to ask her to don the very uniform of something that she's resented and that has represented so much pain for her, not only herself personally, but the people that she grew up around, is a very different situation. So anyway, I'm thankful that in the end, Caitlyn did take a minute and be like, yeah, okay, I'm starting to see now that it was a bit much for me to ask you that. I'm not saying she shouldn't have asked, because given the situation, and especially what happened in the last 10 minutes of the episode, there was very valid reason for why Caitlin was asking her. Like, it wasn't about the philosophy or the belief system and what the enforcers are. It was more in being an enforcer is pretty much the only way you're going to be able to go down there, have the backup that you need, and, you know, again, just kind of show that you're not supporting the people who are doing this to Piltover, which again is not right, because as I've already mentioned, it's not right for them to paint a giant brush across the Undercity. But in the situation that's going on right now, as I said, Vi does not have the luxury of being in the middle. It's not going to happen. Anytime there's a battle going on, the only way you get to be neutral or Switzerland is if you like completely remove yourself from it. Like, you need to be out, gone. And that's not Vi. Vi's not a girl who sits back. She's an action taker. So she's going to have to pick one or the other. She's either going to have to go down there and be considered part of the Undercity, or she's going to have to show the people of Piltover that she's not someone who's excusing her sister's actions. And that's especially for Vi, unfortunately, because it is her sister, right? If it was just another random person in the Undercity, more people would probably be like, okay, maybe. But because they know that's her sister, it just makes it look like everyone's going to immediately assume otherwise, that Vi is on Jinx's side. So anyway, very complex, very messy, and I think the show is doing a great job of showing that this is not, none of this is going to be clean. None of this is a straight, easy, yes or no, right or wrong answer. There's a lot of moral gray here and a lot of hard decisions to be made. And again, Vi, she does have a good moral compass. Like, she does know what Jinx did was inexcusable and wrong, but she also understands that her sister is broken and that the people of the Undercity have their reasons for their resentment towards Piltover. And that was not just her sister. Like, that didn't start with her sister, and it won't end with her either. But at the same time, she also knows that like what Jinx did was way over the line, and that this is not the right answer. Like, going and hurting innocent people is not the answer to the very big and long-standing issue of systemic oppression that's been going on between these two places. So anyway, so that was pretty much a lot of what was happening on the upside as far as Caitlin and Vi. And then we see in the end that Vi did don the uniform, but we'll get to that. Other than that, we got to see Jace and Mel, and we see that Jace is desperately trying to save Victor because Victor was very badly hurt. But again, I don't know how much of that was the explosion or how much that was what he's already been doing with his body with the Hex Tech, as we saw last season that what he was putting his body through was pretty crazy. And even he didn't fully understand what the Hex Tech was doing to his body. So I don't know how much of that was already in, because you saw like how his hands were already all burnt up and bruised up from the last time the Hex Tech went off. So some of that was, yes, probably the result of the explosion. But my point is that I think things were already going down with him. But understandably, Jace that's his best friend, and he's feeling a lot. You know, he's feeling a lot of survivor's guilt in the moment, because I think he feels bad also because Victor is sick, right? He knows Victor's already on borrowed time, and thinking that if all things that this happened, like why, like he said, why wasn't I hurt? Why didn't anything happen to me? Why did it have to be the guy that already has so much going wrong with him as it is? And I really like that Mel was there for him and just said, like, you know, you can't hold this. Like, this is not on you. There's no sense to it. It's not meant to make sense. It's just, that's why it's a tragedy. But anyway, we see that he has been trying to use Hex Tech, and you saw him, you know, furiously going through Victor's notes, trying to figure out if there's any way that he could save him based on what Victor's already done. And we see that it looks like the Hex Tech created that cocoon that Victor's in. I thought maybe it was something Jace did, but I guess the Hex Tech did it. And it probably happened after that massive blast that Jace did. So according to Jace, he has no idea what's happening, but Victor is not dead. He's breathing, and there seems to be like brain activity, but that's as much as he knows. So my guess is that it's actually literally rebuilding Victor from the inside. And I think it started, honestly, like I said, even before the explosion, because Victor is sick, right? He's been sick his entire life. So my guess is this Hex Tech is probably rebuilding him from a cellular level so that he will be healthier going forward, or at least able to live. I don't know about healthier, but he'll be able to live anyways, because the body he was in was, as we saw last season, on its last legs. So anyway, that's what's happening with him. But there's a lot of survivor's guilt going on with Jace. And of course, you know, I think it also goes all the way back to him thinking, like, if I hadn't been playing with this Hex Tech, it would have never gotten in the hands of the people down below, and none of this would have happened. I do think that's the root of a lot of what he's feeling. But, you know, progress is going to happen one way or another. Hopefully Jace will get to the point where he doesn't blame himself. But I still do think it's a good thing that he's being wary and understanding that there is a price to be paid for going after progress at all costs. Let's put it that way. That's kind of what Jace was dealing with. And then of course he was kind of avoiding Caitlyn a bit because I think he felt super guilty, but they did have a good conversation about the Hex Tech. And even Caitlyn was like, I don't think Hex Tech is the answer. Jace is angry, but he was angry last season too. Like he's got a lot of rage going on, and he's to the point now where we saw last season that he's starting to form a very ugly opinion of the Undercity and the people in it, even though Victor is someone he considers to be like a brother and he's from there. But anyway, you know, we hear Caitlyn again, you know, she had to set Jace straight with like, we can't go in with this singular minded opinion of the people of the Undercity. We have to stop dehumanizing them just because of one person's act at that point in time. And so anyways, that was Jace. And then we see with my poor girl Mel, you know, she's doing her best to be, as I said, the level head in the council, because the surviving council members, they were both injured pretty badly from what happened, and they're out for blood. As much as they don't want to admit it, they are out for blood. Although the other black lady, the bald girl, she seems like she's a little bit more leaning to Caitlyn. Like she wants something to be done, but she's not to the point where she wants extremes either. Whereas the guy who was paralyzed, which obviously is much more severe of an injury, he wants blood. He was already a snob though, let's be fair. He wasn't a fan of the Undercity to begin with, but he wants blood. He's like, invasion, boot to necks. We don't want them to get up. We don't want them to breathe. We want them to feel like the oppression like they've never felt it before. And now we see that Mel's mom has joined the chat, but she's been wanting to because she wants her hands on the Hex Tech. We learned that last season. She's trying to pull Mel back into the family business so that she can get her hands on the Hex Tech. She tried to get Mel to influence Jace last season to work with them because, of course, you know, her mom and their family have been embroiled in all kinds of warmongering for a long time. So they think the Hex Tech is the next step to give them an advantage in that particular situation. But coming back to this, Mel does not like her mom's influence in there because her mom is a warmonger, right? Like this is literally what she lives for, but sadly, it's also what she's very good at, which in this particular situation, depending on whose side you're on, could be a good thing, right? And so anyways, we see that Mel is again trying to keep order in the council, and she's like, listen, we can't go down there guns blazing. There's so many innocent people that don't deserve to die because of one person at that point in time, one person who did a very horrible thing. Yes, that impact was huge from that one person, but it was still one person. She, in the end, because the other council member, because the guy who in the wheelchair, I can't remember his name, he did bring up a valid point about we're in fear up here now. Like we don't know that we're safe. And as long as Jinx is running around, even if it is that one person, we're not gonna feel safe up here. We need to do something, and we need to do it quickly so that they are discouraged from doing something again. Because if we do nothing, it's gonna feel like we gave them a pass. And so that's what kind of wins over the other council member. And so she's like, fine, you know what? We can go, but no Hex Tech. Let's try to keep it as Hex Tech as a last resort. So that's what they agreed to at that point. But obviously, like I think Mel knew at that point that it already was going to be an uphill battle because they were already willing to go to the well, one of them at least was willing to go to extremes. And with her mom there, of course her mom wants to test all the Hex Tech and how bad it can be, right? That's all the testing she'll need for whatever she wants the Hex Tech for. So anyway, we see that throughout the episode, Mel has been trying to temper a lot of emotions. Like even with Jace, she sees that Jace is really upset and he's pushing a lot of blame onto the Undercity as well. And she, like Caitlyn, is trying to get everyone to recognize, to take away from, not to just put everything into the good and bad, the up and down, like these people are bad, these people are good. Like there is so much gray in all this, and there's innocence on both sides. And poor Mel is doing her best, but she's also got a very wary side eye on her mother because she knows her mom is working to get her talents further into the Piltover elite so that she can get her hands on the Hex Tech at some point, despite Mel trying to keep her from all that. So that was pretty much Mel this episode. And then what else did we have? Was that pretty much it? Yeah, I think that was pretty much the majority of it until the last, 10 minutes there, where we see that, Mel, the understanding that they had, at the top side was that without Silco, who they believe to be dead, which from the ending, it looks like he's not, they're like, okay, there's no one leading them anymore. So there'll be chaos down there. There'll be a power vacuum. We take advantage, but it looks like that's not the case. We see that the Undercity, some of them, because again, I don't think this is an organized attack in the sense of multiple factions, but the people who attacked were people who benefited from Silco, but now I remember the lady who ended up getting killed at the end. That was the woman, because remember last season, that little boy who was a spy at the factory, he got killed. And how did he get killed again? I don't think it was Jace who did it directly, if memory serves, but somehow her son died. I remember that. And it looks like she blames Jace for that instead of Silco, who she really should have been blaming. But anyway, so it looks like she went and is using some of the tech that Silco's people have been working on for some time. And I think those were all factory people. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, it was they did jack up the factory. Jason, Vi both jacked up the factory last season. So I think it was those people alone at this point who came and did this attack. And it was very personal. We saw that the mother was going after Jace in particular, and that's why she was not killing him quickly. Thank God, because that's how he survived. But it's the point is that while it wasn't coordinated through all the groups, the point that I think was made is that the Undercity people, now that they know an attack has successfully gone over on the untouchable Piltover, it's open season, right? For anyone who's got a grudge, anyone's got a gripe, anyone who's got anything that they want to get out against against Piltover, they're going to do it. Now that they've got tech, now that they've got weapons that are better than average, they're all going to feel like they can do this now. So that's what happened here. And, to attack during a memorial, they clearly don't care. They clearly have no empathy whatsoever for the people at the top and the people who died as a result of that attack. So unfortunately, as I said in this episode, they do such a great job because it's one of those things where obviously the attack was horrible. And I feel for the people of Piltover, these little kids crying and screaming. Obviously it was horrible, but at the same time, we have to remember last season. We have to remember what the Undercity has gone through, what the people there have had to live with, what Zahn has been dealing with this has been a couple of months of them dealing with this, whereas Zahn's been dealing with this for decades. So we have to remember that Zahn is not doing this because they're evil monsters, right? Which is why, even we saw Caitlyn getting angry after the attack saying, oh, these people are animals. But it's like, are they all? Or maybe the people who did this, yeah, it was animalistic behavior to come into an innocent crowd and start wiping people up. But that's not all of them. It's not everyone. And thankfully, Caitlyn caught herself later and she's like, it's very hard and it's a challenge not to categorize all the people together and to not dehumanize these people to make it easier for me to hate them. But point being that Zahn didn't get this way overnight. This is after years of oppression, years of Piltover abusing their power and mistreating them and literally making them sick and doing so many things to create this animosity. Like, this did not happen overnight, is my point. Revolutions or these types of clashes are never the result of someone waking up one morning and being like, oh, sun's out today, let's go attack the, Piltover. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, I just love that they're showing that this is not going to be an easy situation. And this is the reality of most wars. Like, both sides have their reasons for why they typically go into these situations. But I think overall what they're agreeing on is the senseless death, no matter who's bringing it, is wrong. And that's really what the Mels and the Caitlyns at this point are trying to stop, and Vi too, and that's why she ended up donning the uniform at the end. She just wants it to stop. She doesn't want to, she knows, after seeing that attack, she now knows unequivocally that it's going to keep happening. If someone doesn't go down and make an example, all these gang groups are going to just start coming over and doing their worst because they're going to feel like, who's going to stop them? But yeah, another really, really good episode. I feel like there's still stuff that I missed because there was a lot in this episode, but it was so, so good. Great start to the season. Loving it. Hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I will see you in the next one.